Hello, everybody. Everybody. This is Nanette Kennedy, and this is the Humanities Team and Evolution Revolution book discussion group. We are reading uh, Friendship with God right now. And last time we stopped in the middle of the chapter because it was so long at the end of the call. And I understand it's page 76 if you were doing a paperback or the book. And did you say 75 with Kindle?
Yeah, because it's somewhere on the page 75, 76, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I'm actually going to start with the last sentence on the last page in my book, just to give us the transition.
Okay. And anyway, Linda is going to start reading right now.
Okay.
Over.
So this is Neil speaking. So to have a friendship with God, all I really have to do is have a friendship with myself? Exactly. Well, that sounds so simple. It's almost too good to be true. It is true, trust me, but it's not simple. If knowing yourself, much less having a friendship with yourself, was simple, you would have done it a long time ago. Can you help me? Well, that's what we're doing here. I'm going to lead you back to yourself, and thus lead you back to me. And this you will one day do for others. You will give people back to themselves, and thus back to me. For when you find yourself, you find me. There I have always been, and there I will always be. How can I have a friendship with myself? By coming to know who you really are, and by coming clear about who you are not. I thought I have a friendship with myself. I like me a lot, maybe a bit too much. As I've said, I've had my personality problem my whole life. It's been my ego. A big ego is not a sign that one likes oneself, but just the opposite. If people brag and show off a lot, it raises the question, what do they dislike about themselves so much that they feel they have to get others to like them to compensate? Whoa, that almost hurts. A painful observation is almost always a truthful one. You're having growing pains, my son. It's all right. So you mean I really don't like myself that much? And I'm trying to compensate for a lack of self-love by substituting the love of others? Only you can know that, yet you're the one who said you have an ego problem. I observe that true self-love disappears the ego. It does not enlarge it. Put another way, the larger your understanding of who you really are, the smaller your ego. When you know who you really are fully, your ego is fully gone. But my ego is my sense of self, no? No. Your ego is who you think that you are. It has nothing to do with who you really are. Doesn't that contradict an earlier teaching that it's okay to have an ego? It's okay to have an ego. In fact, it's very okay, because an ego is necessary in order for you to have the experience that you are now having, as we might be a separate entity in a relative world. Okay, now I am thoroughly confused. That's okay. Confusion is the first step towards wisdom. Folly is thinking you have all the answers. Can you help me here? Is it good to have an ego or not? That's a big question. You've entered the relative world, what I call the realm of the relative. In order to experience what you cannot experience in the realm of the absolute, what you seek to experience is who you really are. In the realm of the absolute, you can know this, but you cannot experience it. The desire of your soul is to know itself experientially. The reason that you cannot experience any aspect of who you are in the realm of the absolute is that in this realm, there is no aspect that you are not. The absolute is just that, the absolute, the all of everything, the alpha and the omega, with nothing in between. There are no degrees of absoluteness. Degrees of things can only exist in the relative. The realm of the relative was created so that you can know yourself as magnificent, experientially. In the realm of the absolute, there is nothing but magnificence. And so, magnificence is not. That is, it cannot be experienced. And it cannot be known experientially, because there is no way to experience magnificence in the absence of that which is not magnificent. In truth, you are one with everything. That is your magnificent. But you cannot know the magnificence of being one with everything while you are one with everything, because there is nothing else. So being one with everything means nothing. In your experience, you're simply you, and you have no experience of magnificence of that. The only way for you to experience the magnificence of being one with everything is for there to be some state or condition in which not being one with everything is possible. Yet since being is one, since everything is one in the realm of the absolute, which is the ultimate reality, something not being one with everything is impossible. What's not impossible, however, is the illusion of not being one with everything. It was for the purpose of creating this illusion, then, that the realm of the relative was created. It's like an Alice in Wonderland world in which things are not really what they seem, and in which things seem to be what they are not. Your ego is your chief tool in creating this illusion. It is the device which allows you to imagine yourself as separate from all the rest of you. It is the part of you that thinks of you as being individual. You are not an individual. Yet you must be individualized in order to comprehend and appreciate the experience of the whole. And so in this sense, it is good to have an ego. Given what you are trying to do, it is good. Yet too much ego is, given what you are trying to do, not good. That's because what you're trying to do is use the illusion of separateness to better comprehend and appreciate the experience of oneness, which is who you really are. When the ego becomes so enlarged that all you can see is the separate self, all chance of experiencing the unified self is gone, and you are lost. You have literally become lost in the world of your illusion, and you may remain lost in that illusion for many lifetimes until you finally bring yourself out of it, or until somebody else, another soul, pulls you out. This is what is meant by giving you back to yourself. This is what the Christian churches meant by their concept of a savior. The only mistake those churches made was in declaring themselves and their religions to be the only way to be saved, thus reinforcing once again the illusion of separateness, the very illusion from which they would seek to save you. So if you ask, is it good to have an ego? And that is a very large question. It all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're using the ego as a tool with which to ultimately experience the only reality, it is good. If the ego is using you to stop you from experiencing that reality, then it is not good. To the degree that it is stopping you from doing what you came here to do, it is not good. Yet you are always at free choice about what you remain here to do. If you find it enjoyable to not experience yourself as a part of the one, you will be given the choice of not having that experience just now. Only when you've had enough of the separateness, enough of the illusion, enough of the loneliness and the painfulness, will you seek to find your way home. And then you will find that I will be there, that I have always been there. Always. Whoa, ask a question, get an answer, especially when you're asking God. Yes, I see. I mean, it's not as if you have to stop and think about these things. No, the answer is right there on the tip of my tongue. It's not on the tip of your tongue, too. It's right on the tip of your tongue, too, I might add. What do you mean? I mean, I'm not keeping these answers to myself. I never have been. All the answers to all of life's questions are quite literally on the tip of your tongue. That's another way of saying, as you speak it, so it will be. Well, according to that, if I say everything you say is hogwash, then what you've just told me is not true. That's true. No, it's not true. I mean, it's true that it's not true. But if you say that everything you say is not true, then it's not true that it's not true. That's true. Unless it's not. Unless it's not. You see, you're creating your own reality. That's what you say. That's right. But if I don't believe what you say, then you will not experience it as your reality. But catch the closed circle here, because if you do not believe that you create your own reality, then you will experience your reality as something you did not create, proving that you create your own reality. Oh boy, I feel like I'm in the Hall of Mirrors. You are, my wonderful one, in more ways than you can know. For everything that you see is a reflection of you. And if the mirrors of life show you distortions, it is a reflection of your distorted thoughts about you. That gets me back to where I was before we got off on this tangent. There are no tangents, my son, only different routes to the same destination. I was asking you how I can have a friendship with myself. You said I can know God when I know my soul, that I can have a friendship with God when I have a friendship with myself. And I asked you, how can I do that? I thought I had a friendship with myself already. Some people do, some people don't. Some people, at best, what they have is a truce. Maybe what you said about a large ego being a sign that I don't like myself is true. I'm going to think about that. It's not that people don't like themselves completely. It's just that there's a part of themselves they don't like. And so the ego compensates by trying to get other people to like them. Of course, they don't show the part of themselves they don't like to others until this growing intimacy of a relationship makes it impossible not to. When they finally do, and when the other person acts surprised, and maybe even negatively, then they can assure themselves that they were right about this aspect of themselves being unlikable. And the whole circle continues. It's a very complex process, and you move through it every day. You should have been a psychologist. I invented psychology. I know, I was just kidding. I know. You see, kidding is a thing often people do when enough. You're right, enough. I was just kidding. You make me laugh. You know that? I make you laugh. You make me laugh. That's what I like. A God with a sense of humor. Well, laughter's good for the soul. Couldn't agree more, but could we get back to the question, how can I have a friendship with myself? By coming to clarity on who you really are and who you are not. Once you know who you really are, you'd fall in love with yourself. Once you fall in love with yourself, you'll fall in love with me. How can I come to clarity about who I am and who I am not? Let's start with who you are not first, because this is where the biggest problem is. Okay, who am I not? You are not, first and foremost, I want to tell you that you are not your past. You are not your yesterdays. You are not what you did yesterday, what you said yesterday, what you thought yesterday. A lot of people are going to want you to think that you are your yesterdays. In fact, some others are going to insist that you be. They will do this because they have a big investment in your continuing to show up that way. For one thing, they can be right about you. For another thing, they can depend on you. When other people see you as bad, they don't want you to change because they want to continue being right about you. This allows them to justify how they're treating you. When other people see you as good, they don't want you to change because they want to continue being able to depend on you. This allows them to justify how they expect you to treat them. What you are invited to do is live in the moment. Create yourself anew in the present moment. This allows you to separate from yourself from your former ideas about you, a remarkable percentage of which are founded in other people's ideas about you. Wait a minute. How can I forget my past? Other people's ideas about me are based, in part at least, on their experience of me, on my behaviors in the past. What do I do? Just forget that I did those things? Pretend that they don't matter? Neither. Do not seek to forget your past. Seek to change your future. The worst thing you could do is forget your past. Forget your past, and you forget all that it has to show you, all that it gave you as its gift. Neither pretend that it doesn't matter. Rather, acknowledge that it does matter, and that precisely because it does, you have decided not to repeat certain behaviors ever again. Yet once you've made that decision, let go of your past. Letting go of it does not mean forgetting it. It means stopping the holding on, ending the clinging to your past as if you are going to drown without it. You are drowning because of it. Stop using your past to keep you afloat in your ideas of who you are. Let these old logs go and swim to a new shore. Even people with a wonderful past are not served by holding on to it as if that is who they are. This is called resting on your laurels, and nothing stops growth faster. Neither rest on your laurels nor dwell on your failures. Rather, start over anew in each golden moment of now. But how can I change behaviors that have become habitual or character traits that have become ingrained? By asking yourself one simple question. Is this who I am? It's the most important question you'll ever ask yourself. You may ask it profitably before and after every decision in your life, from what clothes to wear to what job to take, from whom to marry, to whether to marry at all. And certainly it is a key question to ask when you catch yourself in behaviors you say you want to discontinue. And this will change long-held character traits or behaviors? Try it. Okay, I will. Good. After I decide who I'm not, and after I free myself from the idea that I am past, free myself from the idea that I am my past, how do I discover who I am? It's not a process of discovery. It's a process of creation. You can't discover who you are because you should be coming from ground zero when you decide this. You are not deciding this based on your discoveries, but rather based on preferences. Do not be who you thought you were, but who you wish you were. Well, that's a big difference. It's the biggest difference of your life. Up to now, you've been being who you thought you were. From now on, you are going to be a product of your highest wishes. Can I really change that much? Of course you can. But remember, it's not about changing and thus suddenly becoming acceptable. You're acceptable right now in the eyes of God. You're only changing because you choose to change. You choose a newer version for yourself. The grandest version of the greatest vision I've ever had about who I am. Precisely. And a simple question like, is this who I am, will bring me to that? It will, unless it won't. But it's a very, very powerful tool. It can be transformational. It is powerful because it contextualizes what is happening. It makes it clear what you are doing. I observe that many people do not know what they are doing. What do you mean, what they are doing? What are they doing? They're creating themselves. Most people do not understand this. They do not see that this is what is happening, that this is what they are doing. They do not know that this is, in fact, the purpose of all life. Because they do not know this, they do not realize how important, how impactful every decision is. Every decision you make, every decision is not a decision about what to do. It's a decision about who you are. When you see this, when you understand it, everything changes. You begin to see life a new way. All events, occurrences, and situations turn into opportunities to do what you came here to do. We did come here with a mission, didn't we? Oh, yes. Most assuredly, it is the purpose of your soul to announce and declare, to be and to express, to experience and to fulfill who you really are. And who said that? Whoever you say you are. Your life is based on your declaration. Your choices define you. Every act is an act of self-definition. So yes, a simple 5-word question like that can change your life. Because that question, if you can remember to ask it, places what's going on in a new context, in a much larger context. Especially if you ask that question at decision-making time. There is no time that is not decision-making time. You are always making a decision, all the time. There is no time when you're not making a decision. Even when you're sleeping, you're making decisions. In fact, some of your biggest decisions are made while you're sleeping. And some people are sleeping even when it looks like they're awake. Someone once said we are a planet of sleepwalkers. They're not far from the truth. So that's the magic question, eh? That's the magic question. The 5-word magic question. Actually, there are 2 5-word magic questions. These questions, asked at the right moment, can propel you forward in your own evolution faster than you might ever imagine. The questions are, is this who I am? And what would I love to do now? With your decision to ask and answer those questions at every juncture, you will move from student to teacher of the new gospel. The new gospel, what's that? In my time, my friend, in due time, we have much to say before we get to that. Then can I go back to guilt just one more time? What about people who have done such horrible things, killed people, for example, or raped women or abused children, that they can't just forgive themselves? What they have done in the past, I am going to say again, is not who they are. It might be who others think they are. It might even be who they think they are. But it is not who they really are. But most of these people can't hear that. They're too consumed with their own guilt, or perhaps with bitterness at the cards life has dealt them. Some of them are even afraid that they'll do it again, so they see their life as hopeless, pointless. No life is pointless, and I tell you, no life is hopeless. Fear and guilt are the only enemies of man. Yeah, you've told me that before. And I'll tell you again. Fear and guilt are your only enemies. If you let go of fear, fear lets go of you. If you release guilt, guilt releases you. How do we do that? How do we let go of fear and guilt? By deciding to. It's an arbitrary decision based on nothing but personal preference. You simply change your mind about yourself and how you choose to feel. It's, as your Harry Palmer says, only a decision is required to change one's mind. Even a murderer can change his mind. Even a rapist can recreate himself anew. Even a child abuser can be redeemed. All it takes is a decision deep in the heart and soul and mind. This is not who I am. That goes for any of us, whatever our misdeeds, large or small, goes for any of you. Yet how can I forgive myself if I have done the unforgivable? There is no such thing as the unforgivable. There is no offense so great that I would refuse to forgive it. Even the strictest of your religions teach you that. They may not agree on the way of atonement. They may not agree on the path, but they all agree that there is a way, that there is a path. Well, what is the way? How can I achieve atonement if I myself consider my offenses unforgivable? The opportunity for atonement comes to you automatically at what you call death. You must realize that atonement is just that. It is at one-ment. It is the awareness that you and all others are one. It is the understanding that you are one with everything, including me. This experience you will have, you will remember this immediately after death, after you depart from your body. All souls experience their at one-ment in a moment, in a most interesting way. They are allowed to move through once again every moment of the life they've just completed, and to experience it not only from their viewpoint, from the viewpoint of everyone else who was affected by that moment. They get to rethink every thought, re-say every word, redo every deed, and to experience its effect on every person it affected, as if they were that other person, which they are. They get to know that they are what they are experientially. At this moment, that statement, we are all one, will no longer be a concept. It will be an experience. That could be a living hell. I thought you said in Conversations with God that there's no such thing as hell. There is no place of everlasting torment and damnation, such as you have created in your theologies. But you will, all of you, experience the impact, the outcome, the results of your choices and decisions. Yet this is about growth, not justice. It is the process of evolution, never God's punishment. And during your life review, as some have called it, you will not be judged by anyone, but simply be allowed to experience what the whole of you experienced, rather than the localized version of you that resides with your present body experienced at each moment of life. Ouch. It still sounds like it could be painful. It's not. You will not experience pain, only awareness. You will be deeply in tune with, deeply aware of the totality of every moment and what it held. Yet this will not be painful, but rather enlightening. Not an ouch, but an aha. Exactly. But if there's no ouch, where's the payback for the hurt we've inflicted and the harm we've done? God is not interested in getting you back. God is interested in moving you forward. It is the path of evolution you are on, not the road to hell. The goal is awareness, not retribution. God is not interested in getting us back. God just wants to bring us getting it, back to getting it. Say, not bad at all. Well, I think it's important that we stay lighthearted here. I mean, I've spent years mired in guilt, and some people seem to think that you should hang on to guilt forever, but guilt and regret are not the same thing. Because I've stopped feeling guilty about something doesn't mean I no longer regret it. Regret can be instructive, while guilt is only disabling, debilitating. You said that exactly right. That is well said. And when we're free of guilt, we can move forward, as you put it, with our lives. We can make something worthwhile out of them. Then we can make friends with ourselves again. And then we can make friends with you. You can indeed. You'll make friends with yourself again. You'll fall in love with yourself when you know and at last acknowledge who you really are. And when you know yourself, you'll know me. And step one in having a real working friendship with God is complete. Yes. I wish it was as simple as you make it sound. It is. Trust me.
Thank you, Linda. Excuse me. That was one heck of a long chapter, and that was only half of it. I think I have a mouse in my office. Let's see here. Well, who would like to start the conversation?
I'll just say that it was great to read that, just to be reminded of it. Obviously, we've read it all before, but it's great to just hear those words and have that be reminded of it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take an excerpt out of this and read it to City Council on Monday night. Because there's so many people right now that are just, it's unbelievable. They're spreading lies about each other. There's one council member that's spreading lies about another council member. There's people in town wandering around claiming that they know all about the personnel records of this one council member. And they're all wrong. They're all lies. It's unbelievable. And I really think somewhere around chapter 88 or page 88, like 86 through 88. I think I can pull some stuff out, and I think that I will read it to them.
I think that's a brilliant idea, Linda.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was going to say that this is such a thick chapter that I'm definitely going to read it over again. Over.
I was thinking the same, Nanette. I got a bit lost there with, I forget where it was now, where they were saying about, I mean, I understood it. I didn't need to read it because I already know it. But when they were going over, they were just saying the same thing. And I got a bit lost with it. But that's no matter. But yes, I would like to, and I was making notes actually. But yeah, I'm going to read it. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant, brilliant chapter, I think. It's all brilliant though, isn't it?
Yes. Over.
Over, yes, over.
And hello, Joyce. It's nice to have you here.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yep.
I was journaling and I had an incredible experience.
You were
Is
what?
that an excuse? I don't know. I was journaling this morning on the 52 codes.
Oh, yes.
First time I've journaled in decades, and I just had a incredible opening. So that's my excuse for being late. I love being here. I'm sorry I'm late. Please forgive me.
You are forgiven.
All right. And I just like to say, listening to you at the point where I came in, Linda, reading it, I love the simplicity of putting the polar opposites together and putting it into a framework of saying the worst, the fear, the guilt is the difficult choice, and there is the way out, choosing not to have fear and guilt, which of course is a process, but it's nevertheless a clear path to even realize we have a choice. I think that's where freedom comes. So that's just my input. And the fact that wishes, I think this relates so well to intention, which I have just been learning all this. I've been on an inductive course in my spiritual evolution for 30 years. So connecting all of my inductive experiential learning with words and concepts, and this part of it was just really a very rich experience for me. I think in some ways I'm like a baby. I don't know all of what we're doing, but I have this other experience that allows me to integrate it. That's it. Okay. I just wanted to be clear.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anne?
Hi. Yes, hi. How is everyone?
Good.
This is great. I was just talking about this with a friend. This week I had a text from my brother, which was very cruel, very mean. Basically, what it is that my brother is able to accomplish whatever he wants in the world. He can manifest. He's like up there, Fortune 500, you know, and with all these, he's a big wheel. And so to him, it's very hard to imagine the struggling with just about anything. And so I'm going to share what he wrote because he also quoted God. But what he was saying was that because he doesn't see who I am. He just sees what I do that doesn't please him. So You'll be seen this way by everyone until you change the things you do. You're well-intended all the time, but self-centered in how you do things. And you do them as I already wrote. And no one misses your intention, nor your failure to deliver on it by acting as you do in word or action. All right. Then he says, we become what we think about. We are what we do. We do what we choose, and choosing takes courage. So then he writes, this is God that I'm reading from now. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, and that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole streak of events issues from the decision one makes, raising one's favor, all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man would have dreamed would have ever come his way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Well, to me, what's so interesting is most of what my brother does, he can actually do this. This is not true with me. Just because I want to do something doesn't mean I can pull it off. No matter how long I've tried or something, there are things that I have not been able to change. Though it may not be a struggle for someone else, those things are a struggle for me. So anyway, I do believe at the moment, this is what I've always thought, at the moment of commitment, the universe aspires to assist you. Conspires to assist you. So anyway, off of the reading today, it says just change your mind and make a decision to change your mind. And I think I'm going to quit here, but pretty much, did I make sense? Yes, okay. So I hope I made some sense, but the way that he perceives what I'm doing isn't at all the way it is. It just isn't that way for him. Right? So anybody else, that's it.
Thank you.
Your brother's obviously too advanced for our group.
Oh, that was funny.
Good one. Wow.
That was great.
You shut right on cue.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Linda to drop out too.
Oh.
I like the part where he was talking about, I related that to attachment. I forget what page that was. But was it about making a decision? I equated that to, I think I wrote attachment. Like if you get rid of all attachments, you can work on yourself. You're not attached to anything. Over here. You once have made that decision, right? Let go of your past. Letting go of it does not mean forgetting it, but you just care about it less. Like it doesn't matter that much to you anymore because you've gone through it, you've worked out through it. Is that what you guys are getting from this, or is it a different take?
That's what I was getting. And funny you should have picked that passage because I was thinking about from the time I was 8 years old when my dad died until I was into my 30s. I could not let go of my father.
Yeah.
And what I needed to do is realize what a counselor told me. It says it doesn't mean you're forgetting him.
Right.
It means you're just not hanging on to that pain.
I'm not attached to it so much.
Yeah.
Or you're not captured by it. See, I get
Right.
captured by things, and then it just sticks, and I can't go beyond that. And you get attached too. You know, you get attached to a parent, a boyfriend, girlfriend. You know, you get attachments. And I found that when I let go of all my attachments, that this process became so much easier for me because the only thing was my dog. You know, and I don't have any other attachments in my life. I've just forgone them all. I don't want to be attached to anything right now. And it helps you heal more because you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about others. You know, you just have to worry about how you react with others, but you don't have to worry about them because I don't care about they judge me. I don't care. I'm doing what I need to do to heal. And this is what I need to do. So that made a lot of sense. I like that. And the life review thing, I've had a life review. It was awful in the hospital. I remembered everything. It was really weird. I've never had that again.
Yeah.
I did it before it wasn't before I committed suicide though. I guess it was because when you remember. That's why. When I woke up in the hospital, I remembered I had a life review. I remembered a lot of stuff. Some of it hasn't even happened yet, but that was really scary. And it's only a flash, I think. It's not like several hours. And you think it's not. It's a flash in time. And I just got flashed a whole bunch, like a book, like a file in a computer. Just went, and I heard the clicking of it. They're like, and I was remembering all this stuff. And they said, "This is your life review." I mean, I was even told that. A voice told me, "This is your life review. You were gonna die, and you didn't. And here's why." You know, it was weird. But that was nice to be able to connect that like that.
Agreed.
Over, sorry.
No worries. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm dying of curiosity to find out why Joyce is late. I'd like to hear about your experience when you were journaling.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting.
I think I could sum it up in 2 words. I have never been connected with my essential self before. In my earliest memory, I have had that awareness. And I've never, until I was journaling this morning, understood that gift, that grace that has always been there. All that I needed to do was to open my heart to my essential self. It makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Beautifully stated.
Yeah,
I
but you
think-
didn't mention all the work you did to be able to do that.
Ivana, I lived my life.
That's your life.
What-
Sorry, that's a joke.
thing that I
Sorry,
think-
Ivana.
The thing I think about that though is it's like, imagine if we could just be authentic, you know, just be ourselves.
Well, that's what I am.
And it's what we strive to be. We want to be that.
Yeah.
That earliest
that-
memory is a very interesting choice of words, because I'd really have to sit down and really think about that. Over.
Yeah, we had a journal. The only writing class I ever took was in college, and we had that, an early memory, the first memory that you remember, and you had to write about it. And then we had to change it into a poem and stuff, and it was really cool. It was just from the earliest you can ever remember. Mine was like 6. Traumatic event. So then I changed it into that. It was neat though. Doing the exercise was really neat. I've done it later on too. The journaling. It works nice. Over.
Well, Shabana, do you want to lead us in a closing meditation?
Well, all right, if you insist.
Or wait, did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, I say, I mean, when I hear you now, you are talking about exactly what's going on in me on all different levels. And I'm
That's
so
great.
sorry that I came so late.
Don't you love when that happens though? When it all clicks? I
Yeah,
love it.
because when you say remembering the first memory, that's exactly what I have gone through now the last period. And I remember another time when I was in a therapy when I was very young, that I should remember the first thing I could, and it came to that state. So it always, and when my father died, I came to that state, and that I have been reflecting on that today. So and I don't know what you have read today. Sorry, because I was not there. But you are talking in a way that I just feel, wow, how could I miss you today? I was occupied, so I forgot it because somebody needed me. And anyway, I'm so grateful to listen to you. You are amazing.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Such
what was the
weird-
chapter that we read today, Linda?
What?
What was the number of the chapter?
5.
5. Okay.
Chapter 5.
Yeah. Okay. Because you are such wonderful mirrors. And yeah. Thank you.
We're glad you showed up, even though it was late, but not really.
Better late than never.
That's
Huh?
Better
right.
late than never.
What did
Okay.
you-
Shibana?
Let's do the meditation quick.
Okay, you go, girl.
All right, thank you.
That's what I say.
God of grace, you want us to be authentic. Come and possess us so we can do it. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Shibana. That short, direct, to the point
Good.
message.
Relaxing and good message.
Well, it's the end of the hour. We'll see you all next week.
It's like your volume got turned down.
I don't know why. Can you hear me any better now?
Tiny bit.
Okay, well, let's just say goodbye. We love each other.
There you go.
Okay.
Something
Bye.
happened.
We love each other.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And
Goodbye.
decide if we want to read 5 again. Because we've done that before.
I think maybe
Yeah.
and we'll just get a head count or a hand count next week.
Yeah.
I don't have my book. I left it at home.
Well, that's true.
Silly.
All right. Love you all.
Love you all.
Next week.
Bye.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.